Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a very intriguing topic going on in regards to the PlayStation 5 restocks and a little bit on the Xbox Series X themselves, where we're kind of made really good progress these past few weeks and few months, especially with the holiday and Christmas rush almost being done. And now we're in the new year and kind of supplies still kind of slowly flowing on out, and people slowly keeping in their consoles, and scalping prices thankfully keep on going down and down and down. But there is still one major issue that's still kind of plaguing pretty much everyone, and that's regards of really big cash out groups, and as well also really big cross international reselling, which is still kind of plaguing America quite heavily. So we're going to talk about that, talk about this issue, and hopefully this will be an issue we don't have to worry about in the next few months, but it still seems really prevalent because it does seem like all these other cross countries are also still being plagued by third-party scalpers and prices and just having to pay a bunch of money just to go get their consoles at all. So a lot of things to go talk about, a lot of things to explain, and I had a lot of questions about this too, so let's go and talk about it. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc, digital console, and controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100, you guys go get free stock and free money. Same with that Coinbase too as well. And I appreciate all of you guys so much for watching, Frank, and chilling. Let's go dive in the video itself. So, first and foremost, let's kind of go explain really quickly what's kind of going on and how this has still been an issue. So I'm sure you guys know all about botters. I'm sure you guys all know about scalpers. I'm sure you guys all know about basically the whole supply chain issue going on and the fact that it's still hard to find consoles. Now the Xbox is getting, thankfully, a little bit more easier to go and get. Still hard to go get though. And the PlayStation 5 is still, it's been a little bit easier and there's a little bit less botters and scalpers plaguing it, but it's still kind of hard. And the one big issue with this is in regards to cross-country, basically international resellers that are still buying out a bunch of stock to go and essentially sell to other different countries. And so why are they doing that? What's going on? And how is this gonna basically get fixed? So right now, the big issue is we still have to pay a little bit of a premium when it comes to the PlayStation 5. If you guys have looked at most third-party prices, the PS5 is sitting around maybe like a 625 to 675, depending on where you buy after fees, and sometimes slightly higher depending on which places you're buying them from. Now, granted, I always recommend you guys just wait for retail, because at this point, it's super close, and if even you just have to wait an extra 3 or 4 months regardless, after Horizon's all done, there's no major crazy games coming out anyway, and at that point, it'll probably be very easy to go get a console, whether it's for a walk-in or whether it's just in general. But the big issue is more so on other countries. Like while for an America, our supply and demand are kind of slowly equaling out, still slightly in the higher favor of demand, and we still have quite a few more weeks still of kind of having issues and them still kind of selling out pretty quickly. And as of right now, I'll probably segue at some point to where it is for the Xbox, where it'll still be available for like 2 or 3 days or a few hours, but it'll still sell out that same day. But if you're really trying to get your console at that point, you probably still can. If you have 4 hours, it's kind of a big window if you guys go follow me on Twitter or look at the YouTube videos and stuff like that. But the big issue is other countries. And that's kind of still something that's still been plaguing us pretty heavily. So that's a big reason why we still are having botters. Because while they may not make as much money, say, selling to Americans, they maybe make an extra $100, $150, depending on who they sell it to, or if it's in cash, etc. That could still be profitable. And that's why we still have scalpers and why we still have botters kind of plaguing the systems. I believe in this last Walmart restock, although it wasn't as big as previous drops, we had a lot more normal folks getting their consoles, there still was a pretty high ratio of random botters still getting consoles. And this has been proven by some Twitter posts and other various people bragging about it and all of that. And the reason why they keep on still doing it is because of other countries. So a big issue on, say, China, Japan, Brazil, South America, a lot of European countries, even the UK themselves, Canada, and also Mexico. All these really big and still like very like affluent countries are having major still supply issues. There's been no kind of lie that basically both Microsoft and PlayStation have tried their best to focus America. Americans are very heavy into gaming, into using electronics, into buying games, buying AAA games, buying into Game Passes, and keeping on recurring subscriptions. Like a lot of people like to always go and make fun of Americans for spending money, but we do like spending money. And we also do have that disposable money to go and spend on video games, especially if you compare that to say in India, where you're just in, well, some places are just very impoverished, or some places just can't even afford electricity or even have a proper internet connection to go and buy and download games. So obviously, you want to go focus on the American markets. But the second-hand thing is there are still rich individuals in Brazil, in Portugal, in Europe, in China, etc., where they want to go play games. Now, a really big kind of issue is the prices on those countries are insane. We're talking like still over $1,000 for just getting a PlayStation 5. In the part 2 of it, a lot of these other countries are really wanting to push for the American consoles. A good example is that for the American console versus, say, the Chinese console, you can go and play almost any game you want on the American console because you basically can have a chance to use a VPN in China and use your American-based console to go and basically go and play any game you want. Versus a Chinese console is actually a specifically made a console where it also has different types of region locks as well as soft locks, and just being able to go and play and get certain games is actually a lot harder. In the regards of that, there's basically a huge restriction and embargo list when it comes to China, where if you get a Chinese PlayStation 5, it's still nice, don't get us wrong, but there's a lot of games that are actually properly blacklisted, and you actually can't go and even buy or get or sell the game itself because it's just not allowed in those Chinese markets. And that's a really big reason why they want to have American consoles too, and they're fine with paying the premium, because what's the point of basically going and getting all these games if you can't maybe go play half the games you want to go and get? So it's kind of a big reason why we're still seeing pretty big heavily amounts of scalpers here in America and even botters, because if they can go buy 1,000 consoles and then go and send them over to, say, China, into, say, like Europe, into maybe Australia, into wherever, they can go and resell it even for higher prices. And it's almost like a weird international arbitrage, where basically we have people in America that are buying $600 consoles. We have Chinese consoles for over $1,000. And if they could go and make an extra $300 over making an extra $100 or $150 from selling to American markets, but just a little extra more effort and a large scale operation, they can keep on making and turning some really good money. Now, it's kind of a big issue, though, for us still in America, because it's kind of been plaguing us throughout the past 6 months. This is not a new occurrence. This has been going on for a while, and especially for other countries where, as I mentioned, the prices are extremely high, and the demand there is super, super higher as well, because they're just not getting as many new shipments of consoles. It kind of goes to show that it just skews the demand and supply kind of chain over there way into the demand side. And we can kind of note that, too, as well for some locations like, say, India. India has like over 1 billion people living in it, and they're basically getting one major every retailer restock all at once. And now, of course, there is a lot of impoverished folks in India who may not even have a chance to even buy and afford a PlayStation 5. There's also a very, very growing population of people who can and will and want to go and afford it, let alone the very rich and let alone the very higher upper middle class. They want to be okay spend that money for it because they want to go and play the games. They just, well, it's kind of just want to go play it. It's kind of like if you're rich, you have enough money, you don't mind dropping the extra $500 because you get the better product and you basically could go and get it. So it's kind of, we've been having issues with that a lot as of recently. So that kind of still, once again, is a big wall and deterrent, because until Sony themselves and Microsoft themselves can basically go and spread out the market even more to, say, Japan, into, say, Korea, into China, into Europe, into Australia, they're still going to be having these weird international arbitragers who are trying their best to go and move out consoles and buy out consoles the best they can. And without a doubt, right now, the American markets have gotten and will probably keep on receiving the highest amounts of consoles, because once again, Sony and Microsoft knows Americans like to spend money, and they like to go and, well, do whatever they can to go and, well, make as much money as they can. So it's very, very intriguing for all of us to go and note this, because we want to go and make consoles. We want to go and sell consoles. We want to go and buy consoles at a normal retail price. But as we keep on still having to deal with all these botters and scalpers, it's kind of a big struggle. Now, this all kind of sounds a bit like doom and gloom, because it still is an ever-prevalent issue that probably won't be fixed, at least for a little bit. The one bright side is the American market, which is probably the easiest to resell on, has definitely fallen quite a bit, which in return has definitely turned a lot of botters and scalpers off on trying to go focus on these consoles. They still do exist, and we're still seeing Walmarts and Targets and Best Buys getting played by bots, although consider having 50,000 consoles being bought by bots maybe a few months ago versus maybe, say, 10,000, that also opens up another door to another 40,000 folks to get their consoles normal and legitimately. So while we still have this kind of big international issue, we're still seeing all these people in other regions getting consoles, and we also keep on seeing demand for it still being there, because those countries are just not getting that much stock. Thankfully, at least our own domestic kind of restocks are slowly getting back to normal, and the third-party prices are slowly getting more chill, and there's less and less botters and less scalpers, which does open up the market a lot more for almost all of us out here in America to go and get our consoles. So that's just kind of a little bit of a thing to kind of keep note on, because it's kind of intriguing to go report on, and as well just want to hear your thoughts and comments down below, because this has been plaguing us for the past few months for sure. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 disc, digital console, and controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below if you guys want to follow up on either or. Sign up for Weeble, deposit $100, you guys go get free stock and free money. and with that Coinbase too as well. It's always linked down below. And once again, hopefully we get out of this big gaming and restock drought ASAP, so it could all be back to normal, and hopefully this will not have to be news for us in the near future. So I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. We'll have a lot more videos all throughout today, and I appreciate you guys all so much for existing.